What do you want to know? Don't make no difference now. You can go back and tell her that it's too late. Way too late.
Tell who?
Mrs. Shipley, Harriet's mother-in-law. You go back and tell her that she done it good. There ain't nothing left to do to Harriet. It's all been done. You tell her that.
We don't work for Miss Shipley. We're trying to find out what happened to your sister and the baby.
Who asked you to find out in the first place? Was her, wasn't it? Well, wasn't she the one?
She filed the report.
That's what I mean. You go back and tell her that there's nothing more she can do to Harriet, or the baby, or to Big Perry.
Where is the baby?
He's not here.
Do you know where he is?
Yes. But I ain't gonna tell you, I ain't gonna tell anybody. I promised Harriet I wouldn't, and I'm gonna keep it.
Look, Miss Lavin, we don't want to hurt your sister. We're just trying to get at the truth here. Now, maybe you better tell us what you know.
You ain't doing this for old Mrs. Shipley?
No, ma'am.
All right, then, I'll tell you. But not for her. I wouldn't give her the right time of day. She's the one who did it, the whole thing. You can lay it right at her feet.
All right, you want to tell us?
Since they got married, she's been giving the kids trouble. Right from the first. First time she heard about it. Said Harriet wasn't good enough for her son. Said Harriet was cheap. Didn't make any difference to the kids. They were in love. So they got married.
I see.
As soon as Big Perry went overseas, she started on Harriet to get an annulment. All the time writing her letters, telling her how cheap she was, and that if she really loved Perry, she'd let him go. Then she found out about the baby, and then she started saying how they should get a divorce.
Does Harriet's husband know about this?
Sure, knew it all along. He didn't like it, told his mother to stay out of their lives, kept telling her. Didn't do no good. Then Harriet got the wire. The one where it said that Big Perry was dead. Almost killed her. They was really in love. There's nothing you see something like them two. Real love. The kind you live, not the kind you talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, one night, right after she got the wire, she got a phone call from San Francisco, from old Mrs. Shipley. She told Harriet that she was going to court to take the baby away from her. Said that she could prove that Harriet wasn't a good mother and she didn't deserve to have the baby.
Was your sister living here at the time?
No, but she'd come down every weekend. There was a guy up in L.A. that was giving her trouble, a fellow named Bender, I think. He was with her when she tried to kill herself. He ran out so he wouldn't get mixed up in it. He was always giving Harriet trouble, so she left one night to get away from him and from old Mrs. Shipley. She came here and said that she just wanted to be left alone with her baby. That's not a lot to ask, is it? Just to be left alone?
No, ma'am.
It was old Mrs. Shipley. She just wouldn't let Harriet alone. Kept after her, saying how she was going to take the baby away, how Harriet was an unfit mother. It got on her mind. Finally, wasn't much else she was thinking about but how to keep that baby. Went out walking one night. Took the baby with her. Rained. Rained hard. Guess the baby took cold. Anyway, the next day he came down with a bad fever. A couple of days later, he was dead. Only lived 9 weeks, and he was dead.
All right, would you go on, please?
Harry didn't say anything. She didn't do nothing but just stare at the wall. She didn't even cry. Just sat there and looked at that wall. And all of a sudden she just went to pieces. I called the doctor. He said it was a breakdown. Said I should have her committed. That's what I did. I went up to see her. I'm her sister. She didn't even know me. So you just tell old Mrs. Shipley how she did. Just tell her what she did to my sister. Tell her how the baby's dead, and she finally got what she wanted. Because now Harriet hasn't got the baby. Nobody's got him. Nobody.
9:30 p.m. We got back to Los Angeles, and we went directly to the hotel where Mrs. Shipley was staying.
Good evening, Sergeant Friday. Officer Smith, come in.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I was just having a drink. Could I fix you one?
No, thank you.
How about you, Mr. Smith?
No, thank you.
You don't mind if I go ahead?
Please do.
There's another chair over there, Sergeant.
No, thanks. I'd rather stand.
The desk clerk said it's important.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Have you found my daughter-in-law?
Yes, ma'am, we have.
And the baby? Where is he? Is he still with her?
No, ma'am, he's not.
Well, where is he?
Miss Shipley, your daughter-in-law's a pretty sick girl.
Oh?
She's in the state hospital at Camarillo.
Camarillo?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a mental hospital, isn't it?
That's right.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but then I always knew she wasn't very stable.
Miss Shipley, why didn't you tell us your son was dead?
I didn't think it had any bearing on the case. What difference does it make?
You don't seem very interested in his wife, either.
I'm going to be honest with you, Sergeant. I'm not in the least interested in what she does or where she is. I never did feel that she was the right girl for my son, never. When the baby was born, I tried to go along with it. Tried to be nice to her. She wouldn't have it. She wouldn't even be friendly. She poisoned my son, turned him against me. She's a terrible woman. Just terrible. And whatever has happened to her is exactly what she's got coming. Actually, I'm sorry, it's the way it is, but there's nothing I can do. All I'm interested in right now is my grandson. I want him. And if I have to go to court to get him, then I'll do it that way.
That won't be necessary, ma'am.
Well, where is he? I'd like to go and get him now that Perry's wife can't take care of him.
He's dead, ma'am.
If this is some kind of a joke that you're making up to help my daughter-in-law keep him, it won't work.
No, ma'am, it's no joke. It's the truth. He died in the hospital down in San Diego.
It's not right. It's not right. She did this, Harriet. She did it to get even with me. I know she did.
I'm sorry, Miss Shipley. Wish there was something we could do.
Oh, no, you're not. You're just like the rest of them. There's no one else to consider in this mess. Just her.
What about the baby?
On Saturday, August 21st, a meeting was held in the Captain of Homicide's office, Los Angeles Police Department. In a moment, the results of that meeting. At a meeting held in Captain Lorman's office, it was determined that no criminal act had taken place.